Thank you so much, Laura. So, welcome to my little talk, as Laura said, about fast-changing plans. And this speed is not, like many others today, about technology or rocket science. It's no breaking news and no new methods. It's about sharing success factors I discovered while dealing with changing plans or being in a plan which is changed. And I made this experience in some want to disrupt startup as well as in some super disrupted corporates. So if I today can support you reflecting, inspire you a little bit, and remind you of your own wisdom, I would be happy. I am Rena. I'm a yoga teacher, an animal lover, especially in love with dogs, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Cow4U. And I confess, I love plans. Seriously, you don't? I mean, a plan. Imagine, you kind of paint things out in the brightest colors. Of course, you include a breeze of reality and surely add some buffers for uncertainties. And there it is, a beautiful plan. For example, I have the plan to have a dog since 25 years. And turns out now I'm 40-something and I still don't have a dog. Is this failure? No, I wouldn't say so. I think it's just a change of plans, but we come to this later. So who else loves plans? If we have a plan for 3 months, for 1 year, maybe 5 years, 2 thumbs up are kind of guaranteed. So our colleagues from accounting will love you and your investors. They will love us until life kicks in, right? Because the world changes constantly. There's financial crisis, global terrorism, some awkward virus, and all kind of leads to plans don't turn out the way we planned it, but we still deal with it. And if it's not any kind of competitors kicking in, or if it's competitors kicking in, we also have to change our plan. Bookstores, video stores have been reduced to the maxes. Traditional banks are struggling to their too fail mentality, and they are disrupted by smaller players which are faster, like Amazon, Netflix, you all know them. Also Neon are disrupting businesses. Ergo, no planning? No. I think we need to create an environment where we develop the ability to change plans quickly as a standard and as a recipe for success. So do I have the recipe for the magic sauce? Of course not. But I have some recommendations for ingredients. And this is my listicle with actually 7 ingredients, which work quite well for me. And as always, doses depends on your personal tastes. And I want you invited to this little kitchen party. So ingredient number 1. A plan works when we're connected. If we're disconnected, we lose orientation, we create a lack of understanding for each other, and this leads to misunderstanding and sometimes to contentiousness. And all of this leads to frustration. That does not help to realize a plan, even when it's short-term made up. Number 1 ingredient for making fast-changing plans work is be connected. So let's exchange, let's know our role, know what we're doing, let's know about orientation. We understand why other people do what they do. And this creates empathy and respect. And all of this brings us to motivation, which definitely helps to realize a plan. If plans change, let's focus on staying connected. Keep each other up to date, provide directions to a collective perspective, which brings me to ingredient number 2. Believe in team and colleagues. A new plan, tight deadlines, what to do so everyone does what they're supposed to do. Easy one, I'd say. Become a micromanager. Because micromanagement is great, it helps lose any self-determination, you probably don't feel valued for the work you do, and it's diminishing self-sufficiency. All of this brings us to a loss of creativity, productivity, and therefore performance. And that, funnily enough, while the most common reason to micromanage is to increase performance. Have you ever practiced micromanagement? I have to admit I tried, and it's a huge effort. Means besides the performance of others, you kill your own, and still the results are seldom what you expect. That brings me to ingredient number 2. Why do not believe in the team and the colleagues? Why do not trust? Trust means having each other's back, have the tolerance for mistakes and the security to learn from them instead of fearfully being bullied by that for them or work around them insufficiently. Means speak open and honest with each other in good and bad times and make problems visible and therefore solve them, instead of hiding them. If we don't trust the people around us, we can hardly work productive. And this makes it really hard to realize short-term plans. Trust is the biggest asset we can have as a team to create success. If we focus on trust as an asset instead of performance, that will lead us to performance and productivity. There's a very inspiring 2-minute talk from Simon Sinek about the correlation between trust and productivity. If you haven't seen that already, I strongly recommend after the conference to Google it and find out about this correlation. Brings me to the 3rd ingredient. Don't try to break the magic triangle. So, new plan, choose wisely how to approach it and accept restrictions. You can choose between 2 from 3. I mean, that's quite good, right? You can choose between fast and good, but then you have to accept it's maybe not cheap. You can choose between good and cheap, but then it's probably not fast. And if you choose, or between but those 2, and if you choose fast and cheap, you should not expect great. And of course, lucky punches happen, but that's like winning a lottery. Means it's seldom, and it's mostly not the product of planning. So going for all 3 dimensions with a plan seldom succeeds. Decide your priorities. And that brings me to ingredient number 4. The PPP formula, which I just invented. In a fast-changing environment, we won't be able to strive for perfection, and we just don't have the time. And I think we should not strive for perfection because I think it's boring, but that's just me personally. What we also shouldn't do is perfection comes with a vicious circle. We don't know, we don't reach our goals when we strive for perfection, or just partially. That makes us feel like we lose self-confidence. And that, again, makes us lose kind of creativity, and with that, we lose any kind of productivity. So that's how perfection kills productivity. And that's also the reason why these slides are far from perfect, because without productivity, our plan will not materialize. And this plan and this presentation needed to be materialized, and that's why it's not perfect, but it's there. So why instead go not for prioritization and Pareto? We need to prioritize, common sense, but until it hurts a lot. We need to do less things, strictly, when plans change fast. And in the combination with Pareto principle, which in this case means do less but do the right things, the one who create the impact that you're looking for. Prioritization brings focus, and focus again brings productivity. And productivity realizes the plan. Coming to number 5. The 5th ingredient to make fast changing plans happen and work is balance. Fast-changing plans often come with the wish for an immediate impact. And that sometimes leads to quick and dirty short-term solutions, which is okay. But let's keep in mind, fireworks are not sustainable. And they tend to take a lot of resources. So there's nothing more sad than an MVP or version 1 rolled out but never accomplished. Fireworks are not a very resilient foundation. Why not set up a proper fire? By respecting the basics. This fire will keep us warm. Let's give this fire some time and space, meaning resources and priority. Let's create a healthy balance between those two. It's not like just one or the other. We need both. A solid fire helps us to achieve midterm goals. And I'm not talking long-term goals. And a solid fire will help us to win a war instead of just a single battle. Let's give even fast-changing plans a good foundation. And this brings us to ingredient number 6. Keep the meta perspective. Do you feel like a pinball in a machine sometimes, not having control what's happening next when plans change really fast? What might help us is try to take the meta perspective, a bird's view, especially when things get messy. Let's resist the mess, because probably if we create resistance, it makes us feel even more worse. Let's identify the triggers which takes us away from self-determination. How? Observing. Observe the situation, not just as our situation, but as a situation. Imagine our best friend talking about this problem and giving this best friend the best advice we have wholeheartedly. The ability to create this distance between a situation, which is maybe annoying, and ourselves is not an easy one. And it's also not easy to follow your own advice. And it's not something you create overnight, but like a famous yogi once said, practice and all is coming. And breathing won't hurt, by the way. So what's the connection between ingredient number 6 to manage fast-changing plans? Being a pinball takes away a clear view, right? And to observe helps us to preserve the ability to keep a clear view. It helps not to lose sight of our goals, even if we go just in baby steps and just focus on the next steps. Yeah, that brings me to, last but not least, ingredient number 7, which is the art of letting go. So there are different ways of letting go. There is the high effort letting go, which comes with disagreement and disappointment and anger. And this absorbs a lot of energy. It also might cause irritation to others. But why not try to let things go softly, like a peaceful event, an effortless act? Why? Because this creates space for new things. Because your mind is calm and not busy with being angry or disappointed. And that's how it's connected to the change of plans. If a plan doesn't work, we might have to drop it. If priorities change, we might need to drop a plan, even if it was a good one. And the less effort, the easier that is, the better we can focus on new directions. That's why, in my way of thinking, having the quality of letting things go is a very powerful quality in a fast-changing environment. So actually, that was it. And because I love one thing more than plans, and that's lists, I just prepared a short list of those topics for you. So you can look it over, and probably you can find the slide somewhere later. So, and if you would think like, okay, that sounds so smart. Well, of course, it's not working every day. We will never prevent that plans will change, but we can deal with the change of the plan as a part of the plan. And we can eliminate the bumps and maybe create an advantage to competitors, but mostly, and last but not least, increase our personal peace of mind by being relaxed and accepting that plans will change, by the way. And maybe there are some who think like, okay, and what about the dogs? Okay, I still don't have a dog, but I accepted the circumstances that dog walks are difficult with a lot of work, and feeding is necessary. So I just found some chaps which are kind of very independent. They don't need to be walked. They feed themselves more or less, and they're pretty happy with some time on their own. And that's how, instead of a dog, I ended up having 4 alpacas. So yeah, let's hope your plans turn out the same good way they hopefully did before. Stay healthy, and I'd say bye for now from my side.